biggest rivals in hockey, right? The Soviet Union. So I said, okay. And then all of a sudden I said to myself, you know what? Right now I want to quit. I want to go to bed. But it's 2:00 here. It's probably 2 p.m. in Russia. And there's a Russian kid right now that's lifting weights. And one day I'm going to meet this guy at a tryout, and I'll be damned if that guy's better prepared than me. So I did another set, bang, banged it out. So that's how I did it. That's how I formulated this idea in my head that there was this adversary somewhere out there. I'm going to meet this guy eventually. And then I get bored. Like I told you, I got ADHD. I'm sure of it. And I got bored. So then I decided I'm going to make this a real human being. And I thought to myself, who's the most fierce, vicious Russian that I know? And it's Boris Mikhailov, the famous captain of the famous Soviet Union teams from the 80s. This guy in the Summit Series, when Bobby Clark was breaking ankles with his Louisville slugger stick, he stood up to every Canadian, wasn't afraid of. A lot of the Russians ran for the hills when our guys started getting violent. Not this guy. He'd go nose to nose with anybody. You ever seen what Boris Mikhailov looks like? Like his face has been through hell, and he just doesn't care. He's a grizzly old man, and just I said, you know what? That's Boris. And one day, that guy is going to be waiting for me. So I named him Boris after Boris Mikhailov. And so every time I thought about cutting a corner, if I thought about eating something that wasn't right, drinking a beer or whatever, alcohol, Boris isn't going to do this. Boris is not. He's going to turn down this alcohol. Boris is going to go to bed at 9:00. Boris is going to eat the right foods. Boris is going to do an extra set. He's going to go skate for an extra 2 hours today. I kept on telling myself that this Boris guy was going to do all this. And that's what kept me going. And I'm telling you, man, I met a lot of Borises over the years. And I was ready for him every time. I met a lot of Borises who come in, this guy's taking your job this year. Oh, yeah? I don't think so. And that guy ended up losing, and I won because I was ready for him. I knew who he was going to be 10 years before I ever met him.
That was Graeme Townshend from episode 83 of the Up My Hockey podcast. Graeme was the first ever Jamaican-born player to lace up skates and put on an NHL jersey. He was also the first black player to ever play for the New York Islanders, amongst other amazing accolades for Graeme. He now runs Townshend Hockey and supports young athletes in their development and chasing their hopes and dreams. And I absolutely love that story. It makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up, thinking about how he created this adversary in order to do the work required to get him to where he wanted to go. This story he was talking about was, he explained in the interview, was he was 18 or 19 years old. He wanted to get this scholarship. He wanted to go to a D1 university, and he didn't know how he was going to do it, but he knew that he had to work hard. And he found a place that was hosting pickup hockey in his local area from 9 to 3 in the afternoon. And then he needed to get a job, so he found a job and took the night shift, which started at 4 and ended at midnight. Then he also knew that he needed to work out, that he had to get his workout in. So when he got home from working at midnight, he would go on his balcony and he would work out from 12:30 at night till roughly 2 in the morning, where he'd go to sleep, and he would do it all again the next day. I don't know many 18 or 19-year-olds that would be that committed today. And for Graeme, back in the day, he had to create Boris in order to get his work done. He wanted to quit on the balcony with the lights out and knowing that his friends were out partying, or they're at the club, or they were doing whatever. He was doing bench press and doing curls on the balcony. He thought about this adversary in Russia that was going to be working, and be damned if that guy would ever take his job. And I just love the mindset involved in that. When we're chasing hopes and we're chasing dreams and we're chasing goals, these big dreams, work is required. Sometimes a lot of work is required. Now, how do we get to the point that we're willing to do the work? We need to build reasons to get it done. There has to be a belief center that actually allows you to put in the work. If you don't believe that it can happen, if you don't have the visualization piece in mind that this is where you're going to go and that's how you're going to get there, the work becomes hard. And then we create these excuses for ourselves about why we're not going to do it when it comes to the day-to-day and the activities on the day-to-day. It's one thing to say you want to play in the NHL or you want to get a scholarship. What are you prepared to do for it? You have to believe that, one, it's possible, and two, you have to have tricks tools, strategies in order to get it done, because it doesn't just happen on its own. So one of the tools that Graeme had was creating Boris. I've worked with other athletes that have done similar things. It's something that I talk with my athletes about when I do work with them one-on-one, is about how do we create the mindset required to be really relentless to our approach in chasing our goals and chasing our dreams, and allowing ourselves to improve to the point that these things can actually happen. So take a page out of Graeme's book, create your Boris. If that sounds like a story that empowers you, that interests you, create your Boris. Who is your adversary? Who is someone that you're going to meet in 5, 6, 7 years? Maybe at the end of, or maybe at the beginning of tryouts for you. Maybe that's when you're going to meet him. And maybe that's what's going to allow you to work harder than you ever have this summer in this training season. I think it's a great tool. I think the more real you make this adversary, the more passion you're going to have, and the more rigor you're going to have in your approach to your training and to the decisions that you decide to make. So thank you, Graeme, for sharing that. Thank you for tuning in. Mindset is everything when it comes to this, and you need to use all the tools you can to get that work done. So continue to play hard and keep your head up.